Good morning, LinkedIn. Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, the world. Coming up on today's Gritty Business Show, we have Mr. Shane Yates from All Business Solutions and Mr. Warren Milburn from Monkey Computer Help. Good morning, everyone. Let me just remove this banner. Hi, guys. Welcome to the Gritty Business Show. Great to see you all here today, and welcome to the weekly show. As I was saying, this week we have Mr. Shane Yates, founder of All Business Solutions, and Mr. Warren Milburn, Monkey Computer Help, and self-professed geek, should I say. So we're looking forward to finding out a little bit more about our guests coming up in a few minutes. But this week, what's going on in the club and who's joined the club? So let's have a quick rundown of new members that have joined the club. So here we go. Right. Okay, so I would like to say hello to, let's just get my little list up here. Probably haven't done this very well, but let's say hello to, obviously, Mr. Warren Milburn. Let's say hello to Lara Gowan. Let's say hello to everyone. That didn't quite go to plan. But lots of new members joining the club this week, and great to see so many people engaged with the Cobra Club and the Cobra project, so to speak. And like I say, so many businesses are plumbing themselves into the club at the moment, and it's a great place online to come and do business, which is fantastic. So yeah, what we're going to do in a couple of minutes is get Mr. Shane Yates out, and Ed's not here today, but if you're out there, guys, and you've got a question for Shane or Warren, please pop them in the comments below, and we'll give you a shout out on the show. And yeah, it's always a bit of fun. So what we'll do, let's get Mr. Shane Yates in after this link. So here we go. Good morning, Shane.
Good morning, Andy. How are you? Okay?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Not too bad, and you?
Very good, sir. Very good. It's Wednesday already. The week is flying in, isn't it?
It's crazy, really. Where does time go?
It's a great pleasure to be here, and thank you for the invitation, really.
Yeah, no problem. Great to see you again. And so, you know, you've been on the show before, but for those out there who haven't seen Mr. Shane Yates, I was going to introduce you. Well, actually, maybe we'll leave that till later, actually, because you've got some special talents, but we'll talk about those a bit later on. But for those who haven't met you before, Shane, I wonder if you could just give everyone just a very quick sort of rundown of your history and where you've been, and leading up to All Business Solutions, and then what All Business Solutions is all about.
Yeah, no, thank you, Andy. So Shane Yates, the founder of All Business Solutions. The company launched and was founded originally in 2019, but officially launched at the start of 2020. For the last kind of 26 years, I've been really privileged, really, to have been in a variety of roles across the finance sector, to work with businesses and startups and high growth companies. So my journey started, and I've got a claim to fame, really. I was the youngest ever appointed small business manager in Barclays Bank UK history at 19 years old. And had a very successful career with Barclays, from small business management to agricultural management, medium and large business management through to retail, area retail sales across Wales. Left the bank after about 10 years or so, and a job came available through Welsh Government in Wales to look after the high net worth clients, predominantly clients employing 100, 200 plus staff across Wales. So managed that programme and worked on that programme for 2 years, and then ended up staying with Welsh Government for a further 13 years in developing economic development, economic strategy, and a variety of economic programs to stimulate the business market and also the startup market across Wales, and also in collaboration with UK government, Europe, and various other kind of private sector organisations. And in 2019, I gave my kind of board notice, up to 6 to 12 months notice, that I was actually moving on to launch All Business Solutions. And it's been something that's been in my mind since I was 17 years old, that when I reach 25 years of my life, I want to bottle everything and put that into my own business to take forward. And that point we reached in 2019. So it gives me great privilege and pleasure, really, to be working with businesses right across the UK. And All Business Solutions effectively is a one-stop shop to business success. So we have over 50 tailored solutions for business, from finance through to commercial energy, through to debt recovery, FX payments, R&D, legal services, HR services. We have a variety of services under one roof, and we can actually tailor our solutions to the business need, and that makes us very unique. In our commercial finance department, for example, we have over 350 lenders, and we work with lenders across all sectors of UK enterprise. So we have lenders who are available for your business in your sector, where maybe the banks are closing their doors due to the current environment. So that's what we do. I've worked with 40,000 businesses personally over the last 26 years, and I'm very privileged to say that, and very honoured to say that, and it gives me a lot of pride in the success and the results that we achieve for our clients over that period of time, and what we're looking at doing going forward. So that's a bit of an overview, really.
There's, I mean, we talk about a career and varied and all the things you do. I mean, it's if you had to write all that down on a piece of paper, it'd be a very long piece, wouldn't it? And that's what
I've always worked in. I've always kind of pushed myself and always kind of changed roles and further advanced myself and my knowledge in business every 2 or 3 years. So I've been very fortunate. I mean, I was managing farms at the age of 21, at a portfolio of 600 farms across Wales. And not many 21-year-old people would have that responsibility. But I cherished it. I absolutely cherished it. I made some great relationships. And then moved to small business and corporate after that, and retail banking after that. So yeah, very, very lucky, really, to have been able to work across all areas of the UK, really, as far as kind of business and sectors and enterprise, really. So, yeah, fantastic.
I mean, there's
been in touch with a lot of people today.
Yeah, there's not many people out there I see as sort of the all-rounders with knowledge that spans so many areas, and I definitely stick you in that category, Shane. Which is good. So let's quickly go onto the wall, so to speak. Let's say to this LinkedIn user. Good morning, LinkedIn user.
Good morning.
Good morning, LinkedIn user. Let's say good morning to Shane Yates from No Worries Limited, the fairy godmother.
The amazing Yvonne Taylor. Excellent.
Yes, the amazing Yvonne Taylor. Let's say good morning to Sharon. Happy Sharon.
Good morning, Sharon, in sunny Scotland from Wales.
Say hi to Christina. Good to see you, Christina.
Hi, Christina.
And I like this one, Shane. Shane, you rock.
Thank you, Sharon. She rocks. She's the Celtic queen of rock, is Sharon.
And Duncan's loving it too. So great to see you, Duncan.
Is that good?
Let's get you guys back on the show. So in terms of what's happening at the moment, Shane, obviously, there's been a lot of turmoil around in the last couple of years, and you're based, obviously getting involved with all sorts of finance, and I guess that finance was squeezed right at the start, where people just put the brakes on. Now what are you seeing currently? Because you're on the front line, so to speak, with so many small businesses. Or what are we finding out there in the economy? What's relevant? What's happening at the moment? What should we be aware of?
Yeah, no, it's a good one, really. I mean, it has been a very, unprecedented time across our economy, and we saw initially the government come out with the bailout packages, which was fantastic. And one thing I would say, I'm not going to talk about politics. What I would say is that any government in the day would have had a huge challenge on their hands. And the UK government at the time acted very quickly to come out with bailout packages to support various sectors of the UK economy. And to be fair, it's actually enabled the economy to remain as we are without the fractures and the turmoil that everyone originally predicted. So, yeah, UK government came out with a wave of CBILS loan programs, bounce-back loan programs, and a variety of income support programs from self-employed to furlough. But what we've seen over that time is that all the banks closed their doors. They were only interested in supporting their own clients with those programs and projects, which was funded and supported by UK government and British Business Bank. What we're seeing now as we come out of COVID is banks traditionally will cherry pick certain sectors that they want to support and other sectors that they have a bit more concerns about and obviously more longer term concerns about. So we're seeing tourism, hospitality, leisure, retail sectors feeling the pressure at the moment, especially with. So as businesses are starting to open again and bring the staff back in after furlough, and they're really having to ramp up their plans to get back out there trading in a very competitive market, businesses need access to cash flow very quickly. And this is something that banks aren't able to really work with and provide. And business brokers like ourselves, through Business Loan Services, which I'm a partner of, good shout out to Rob Warlow here in Cardiff. What we have is the ability to access 350 plus lenders across all sectors of the economy. And we're working with lenders who are sector specific. So they understand the sector, they understand what's happened in the sector, and they want to support the sector. So we have lenders ready, waiting to help your business go forward. So if you're looking for cash flow support to get more stock in so you can start trading better and stronger towards Christmas and the new year, or you're pivoting your plans for 2022, but you need that money now, then come and talk to us. It's a free, no obligation conversation. We don't charge for our services up front. We have meaningful conversations with all business owners right across the UK to see what is available in the market for your business today. And when we present that to you, it's only at that point when you want to go forward with us is when we engage with you commercially. So everything up front is free and our doors are firmly open.
Yeah, no, that sounds. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a conversation, isn't it? It's a conversation. Yeah. Shane, one of the best, most knowledgeable persons in the sector you're ever likely to meet and connected. So why don't you have that chat with Shane? But yeah, I mean, in terms of sort of projects you're working on at the moment, who are your sort of typical clients, Shane?
A variety, really. It's an unusual, really, because I think because we do so much in so many varied areas, and that's why I designed All Business Solutions. The strategy and the methodology behind the business is about working together, collaboration. So when we work with a client, we don't have sales. I don't say the word sales in what we do. We provide solutions to needs and problems and opportunities for growth going forward. So when we work with a client, we work with you as the client. Want to understand your business, what makes you tick, what keeps you awake at night. And we want to be able to help you and work alongside you to help you go forward. So we parachute 50 plus solutions available to us. And these solutions aren't solutions we've just picked off the shelf. These are organizations I've worked with and known for 10, 15, 20 years, where we've had very well-established relationships. So yeah, ultimately, we work in a variety of sectors at the moment. I do a lot of work with the British Business Bank, the startup loan program. So I'm very, very honored to be part of that program. And since March this year, I've had 30 startups open their doors to their new businesses in Wales, which is fantastic. And when you phone someone up to say they've had their £10,000 or £25,000 loan, you can hear the excitement and tears sometimes on the other end of the call. It's actually, it's amazing. We're working with farms. We're doing a lot of farm finance at the moment across Wales. A lot of lenders traditionally would work with farms, have tightened up their lending policy. So again, anyone's looking for land or looking to buy additional land to support their existing farm infrastructure, or looking at the next generation of family coming through the farm, and they're looking to access finance and support solutions to grow the business beyond the parents or the grandparents. Again, we can work with you on that level on an individual basis. We're helping high growth companies across the UK in various sectors to access finance. So yeah, it's a mixture really, but a real privilege.
Fantastic. So yeah, going back to the startups, I mean, starting a business is tough. So, you've seen thousands of startups over the years. So wait for it. But if you had to give some top tips for a startup business, what would they be? But I'm going to give you a few seconds just to think about it.
Excellent. I like that. Yeah, so for a startup, really, and it's going back to the old traditional, kind of mindset, really. If I was to ask Mr. Hatcher to jump in the car and drive to a village called Dunkeld in Scotland, what would be the first thing you would do?
Probably ask why, but if I wanted the business, I'd go and jump in my car and get up there.
How would you get there? How would you know your way? What would you do?
I would get my phone and plumb in my Google satellite system.
You would. So you would go on Google Maps, or we go on a sat nav or something similar.
Yeah.
Setting up a business is very much like that. You're going into something that's quite new. You're going into something that's very different from your day-to-day work environment. And ultimately, before you start, you need to look at a plan and how you're going to get there. Okay? Very similar to your sat nav in going somewhere in the UK that you've never been to before. It's very much like that. So the business plan is one of the most important documents you can ever create as a startup. And I'm a real ambassador of this, because I've met thousands of businesses who've never had a plan, and the only plan they have is a plan to fail. And I really mean that, because I've seen it at all levels. So a business plan isn't a document you just create to keep the bank happy or the grant provider happy. It should be a working document that you actually use from day one, where you strategize what you hope to achieve. What you also do is use it as a working document while you start running your business, to actually pull yourself out of your business now and again and say, am I achieving what I really set out to achieve? Is my goal still realistic? Is my pricing strategy still realistic? Am I ahead of my competition where I thought I would be? Those kind of self-provoking questions, ultimately, your business plan should be a live document that sits with you for the rest of your business life. And that, I would say, that's the ultimate, most important document you can create. And we have businesses right across the UK, from startups right through to existing businesses, have what we call growth plans. So it wouldn't be a business plan of starting up with an existing business. It'd be a growth plan to take your business to the next level, to take your business, your people, your operations forward over the next 2 or 3 years, and having those points in time where you review those areas with someone like myself, who can come into your business and say, right, you said 3 months ago you're going to achieve this. Are we on track? Why aren't we on track? Who's taken the focus away from you achieving your goals? So I come in as a bit of a thought provoker, really, but also connect the strategy and also the solutions to help our business achieve the end goals they're looking to go for, really. So that's my best tip, is the business plan. Have a plan of action.
I think the key word in all of that is the word realistic. It just kept on popping out at me, and I've seen plenty of startup sort of business plans, and it's making sure that if you're going to do it, maybe show it to someone that's been in business, or an advisor such as like yourself, and get that sort of realistic sort of opinion of it. And I'd say going to friends and family is all great, but sometimes you need someone who necessarily doesn't care for you, that you haven't been that close with them, and they might not want to hurt your feelings. Maybe take it out of that zone into another space where it's maybe someone you don't know is looking at it in an objective sort of manner.
No, definitely. I think we've seen a boom in the UK. We've seen the highest birth rate. So in the world of business, there's birth rates and death rates. So businesses starting, businesses failing or closing. So birth rates in the UK have been the highest. Oops, sorry, Trevor. Go on, sorry, I apologise. So birth rates in the UK are the highest they've ever been in the last kind of 10 years on the back of COVID. So what we've seen ultimately is people actually been able to work from home on furlough, being able to set up enterprises, small businesses, to do something and keep themselves occupied. But what a lot of people have done is actually realised there's a business, there's an opportunity here where I can stay at home, have the flexibility around the family, and actually run my business. And ultimately, it's helped a lot of employers who've been looking at redundancies and go into their staff and say, look, we're thinking of reducing numbers. And staff have actually been putting their hands up saying, we'll take a redundancy package, thank you very much, because we've now want to put it into our own business. But ultimately, lots of those businesses aren't seeking advice. So they're using their hard-earned cash from redundancy money and ploughing them into business ideas without really thinking of the plan, looking at the market and getting that external expertise. So I would say if you're in that position, come and talk to us. I know, Andy, you do a lot of business support yourself for startups and existing businesses, equally same as myself, and the doors are always firmly open around the Code Club to actually help individuals out there, just discuss some of your ideas and look at your plans going forward, really.
Yeah, it's super important. I'm going to say hello to a few people in a second on the chat, but yeah, you see it with startups, great, full of ideas, enthusiasm, but sometimes, yeah, the best laid plans maybe not realistic, or they just need to speak to someone who's been there, seen it, done it, and has got the t-shirt about it. And that's the good thing about the club, that you can just come in and speak with people like Shane and myself and other good people in the club and get sort of essentially get free business support. I mean, people are all
fantastic.
And you're learning so much. And the good thing is that there's been plenty of startups start up within the club, and they're starting up in that supportive environment where they're surrounded by knowledgeable people. And I think that's one of the good things.
I've had many one-to-ones, and over the last few months, where we've exactly that, helped people who've just started up, not sure which direction to go. And I said, look, go one-to-one in the club. Let's have a quick 5-10 minutes chat. We have a coffee, have a conversation, and we point them the right way, or we give them opportunities for people who they need to go and speak to. And that's the nice thing about what we do. We like to give back. It's yes, we've got businesses to run, but ultimately we want to help other people, and that's the nature of our role, really.
Yeah. No, that's it. That's what it's all about. I'm going to say hello to Mr. John Attridge. Hi, John. Good to see you.
John.
I'm going to say hi to Katrina Ellis. Good morning, Katrina.
Good morning, Katrina.
Hi to Tara. Hello, Tara. Good to be there. Good to see you here,
morning, Tara. Welcome.
And then, obviously referring back to one of your previous comments, starting with the end in mind. John loves it. I think it's a perfect place to start, is starting at the end with success, isn't it? I'm going to be successful. Let's work backwards from there. What does that mean? What does that mean to you? Does that mean more time with your family? Does that mean I want to be driving a Lamborghini in 3 years? Does it mean you just want one decent holiday? Does it mean you want to pay for your house off or save your house? Whatever it is. So it's starting with those sorts of things in mind about where you want to go.
Andy, I was going to say, one thing that was going to, just a bit of a plug, really. So I've got an inner personal campaign across November talking about success. Each day on LinkedIn and Facebook, I'm sharing a tip to business success every single day. So what I've done is drawn on 26 years of my life and working with entrepreneurs and businesses and startups, and sharing one tip a day, every single day for the whole month of November. So we're week 2 into the campaign. So feel free to have a look on LinkedIn, connect with myself, and every single day we'll be sharing that tip with you to help your business go forward. So my aim is to help businesses bounce back stronger and harder into 2022. And as a community across the UK, we can help people on the channels like social media to get there. So so feel free to keep an eye out for those, and a like and a share would be very appreciated. Thank you.
Brilliant. So follow Shane's profile on LinkedIn and get all those tips for the month. I'd probably agree with that, John. Let's put more effort into planning their holiday than their business.
True. Very true.
Yeah. John also goes on to say, okay. And wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's probably higher than that. It's surprising.
It's a lot. You think that people would be holding off at the moment, but actually it's going the other way. And
ultimately, you see like high streets, the gaps in high streets, and people thinking, well, businesses can't be starting up because the shops are empty, the big department stores are closed. But ultimately, it's all online. 80% of businesses I work with pretty much over this last year have been online businesses, trading with eBay, Amazon, Etsy, Shopify, and international businesses, importing goods, having goods dispatched all around the world, and doing it from their bedroom of their home, and really, growing successful businesses. So you don't have to go high street. You don't have to be in a kind of a business park and have a big office and all the expenses that go with it. You can achieve a lot now online, and that's the way forward.
Yeah. So when you're starting up, or when you're thinking about your business, think about a decent online strategy. So moving forward, Shane. I know Mr. Shane Yates and what you get involved with, but a lot of people here don't know Mr. Shane Yates. So I'm going to play them this, and let's find out a little bit more about the man behind Shane Yates.
Excellent. Where do we start?
Where do we start? The
Where do we start?
multi-talented Mr. Shane Yates.
Well, ultimately, I think one of my main passions is, and this is something that really helps me in my business world, is that switch off point of my work. And one thing I've been very passionate about since I was probably 13, 14 years old is songwriting. And been playing music. And I've been very fortunate. I'm a self-taught musician, never had lessons. So I learned to play the guitar myself, and I've always put pen to paper over the years. And I've written lots and lots of songs. But over lockdown, it gave me an opportunity where we all had a bit more time on our hands to kind of grow that and develop it a bit further. So I started writing music, started producing the music, developing some music videos, put them up on YouTube. So if you look up Shane Yates, there's a variety of different videos on there. And I was also able to write my first album last year. And my dad was a musician. He's still with us, which is great. But he's a retired musician, and he was a country western singer. And he was a very good country western singer. And he inspired me with my music. And I always wanted to put my music into an album and present that to him one day as a present. So this Father's Day this year, I was able to give him my first album, fully mastered, fully produced by a very good friend out in the Netherlands who produced it for me. I've got to say a big shout out to Matthew Asteroid, who's a music DJ across Europe. Produced the album, we got the artwork done, and I gave that to my dad as the first ever album on Father's Day, which went down extremely well. So
he must have been so proud. And
one of my highlights from the last year.
Just probably a culmination of part of his life as well.
Definitely
doing, and here is the finished goods.
And there was a country western song I dedicated to him in there. So it was a good old Country Roads song, and his country stage name was Country Joe. So I actually changed the name of the song a bit to Country Joe, which he was imagining in tears. So
and can we find this album out on Spotify? Is it out there on Amazon or
that is my plan for next year? Yeah. So we've got a lot going on in the Yates household at the moment. We've got a baby on the way, which is due between Christmas week and the New Year, and obviously the business is busy. So my plan, hopefully next year in 2022, I'm looking to get my head around the digital side of things and hopefully put the album up and get that out there, really. So that's the plan.
Brilliant. Well,
New Year's resolution.
And we're rapidly running out of time, Shane, but I just want to quickly touch upon you obviously been in the Cobra Club for as long as I can remember now, which is fantastic, and we always value your support and all the advice and everything that you do within the club. And you have an event on a Friday morning, don't you?
I do, yeah. It's called the Full Welsh Breakfast, and it's not just for people in Wales. It's designed for businesses right across the UK to come and interact and for help all devolved nations, I say, to help all businesses across the UK make new connections, share ideas, but ultimately grow connections to share business. And we've got a real nice mix of people who come on a Friday, every Friday. Last Friday we had a really good week. And what we're trying to do with the session is everyone gets their minute and a half. We're not too restrictive on time, but everyone gets the time to say who they are and what they do. We also talk about, we also make one person our 5 minutes of fame, where they get to tell us a bit more about themselves, their background, what motivates them, their hobbies and interests. Because I'm a firm believer, if you get to know the person behind the business, you're more likely to actually start working with them and developing business relationships and opportunities going forward. We also then talk about something topical in the economy. So we normally pick a news story in the economy each week, and we have an open conversation about that. And then we wrap it up by 10:30. So 9:30 to 10:30 every Friday, and you're all welcome to come. Not just for members across the Cobra Club, but ultimately you can contact me on LinkedIn, and I can give you a free password to come in for free, and you're more than welcome to join us.
Brilliant. Thanks, Shane. So that's the Cobra Club every Friday morning. 9:30 a.m. Mr. Shane Yates, come and say hi. Find out details on the Cobra Club website, www.thecobraclub.co.uk. Thanks so much, Shane. We packed in so much today, but I'd love to get you back on and appreciate everything that you do and all your expertise, and just highly recommend anyone getting in touch with Mr. Shane Yates. So,
and likewise, really, the Cobra Club, I've got to just a little plan, is a fantastic community platform, not just a place where you go networking, but a community where you make long-lasting relationships. And I'm a big ambassador of that. I've made some amazing relationships over this last year or so, and that in itself is the value for me. The networking is the link to you, the kind of meeting space and the reception space is great, but ultimately it's those relationships you can develop, and that opens up opportunities right across the world, which is unbelievable, really. So thank you on setting up the Cobra Club. Thank you as well.
No problem, my good friend, no problem. Thank you, Shane. We'll see you soon. Take care.
Take care, guys. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks to Mr. Shane Yates, founder of All Business Solutions. Great to see him on the show this morning. So just quickly, my hero of the week this week is Mr. Paul Fegan from Freetimers. Paul is a business development manager of a web company called Freetimers. Paul is my hero of the week. He's been such a supportive member of the club, and he's brought in some new members. So thank you so much, Paul. That's Mr. Paul Fegan. Let's get Paul on the show pretty soon. And now coming up after this, we're going to have Mr. Warren Milburn in the house. Here we go. Good morning, Warren.
Morning.
How are you doing today? You all right?
Very well, thanks. Yeah, the sun's streaming through the window, so it's a little bit bright, but it's good.
Yeah, you're doing all right. Whereabouts are you based, Warren?
I'm up in Newcastle, well, close to Newcastle, so yeah, you can probably tell from the accent.
just a little bit. But so Warren, you heard a little bit about Shane there, and what I'd like to do is ask people about their sort of past and the journey they've been on, any jobs they've sort of can particularly remember or dislike or anything like that, and leading to Monkey Computer Help.
Okay, well, let's go back to 1969. It was a good year. No, I want to just skip a bit forward, and I didn't do particularly well at school. I just couldn't apply myself. It wasn't that I was, unable to do the work. It was just that I just couldn't apply myself at that time. But I blagged my way onto a college course in electronics after I left school, and I really enjoyed it. And I got on well with the lecturers, and it was a completely different experience from being at school. So I decided to stay on and go to university and studied computer engineering there. And then from that point onwards, I had sort of 30+ year career in computers or in jobs involving computers and IT. I became quite successful, very successful. I worked for a number of different consultancy companies, working for the likes of Barclays and Capital One, and a few other sort of large blue chip financial organizations across the world, developing business finance software. This was like sort of before the days when they started calling it fintech, but that's what it was essentially. So I did that for a good long time, and 17 years of that was spent sort of in software engineering, doing that kind of thing, traveling around the world and making a lot of money, and it was great. And then, unfortunately, towards the end of that, I became ill, became very acutely ill. And over the next couple of years from that point, I kind of, all of the money sort of got frittered away, and on benefits, and went from being very successful and quite wealthy to being, on my uppers, and not doing very well at all. I met a new consultant in January 2020, and he said, well, you've been on this treatment for this long and it hasn't really done anything. So what I'm going to suggest is that we just change everything. He was a new guy in the department, and he came in, fresh, and I thought, oh, great, we're going to change to another treatment and it's not going to do anything. And he said, no, hear me out. So I heard him out, and we went along with his suggestion. And following years of being ill, within about 3 or 4 months, I was feeling a lot better. And then within a couple of months after that, I was, ready to go back to work. So I decided at that point that I didn't want to go back into employment. I wanted to be self-employed or running my own business. I never made a very good employee anyway, because of the same reasons that I didn't enjoy school. So it was good, and I didn't want to do that. So I was just broke. I was absolutely broke and casting around for things to do. And someone asked me if I could fix their mobile phone. They knew I was a techie, geeky sort of guy who could possibly do that kind of thing. And so I took a chance on it and said, yeah, okay, and just worried about the consequences later. But I did fix it, and he gave me 30 quid for it, which I thought was great. So I took that 30 quid and I bought some tools, and those tools were tools to fix a laptop. Okay. So someone asked me if I could fix a laptop for them, so I did that. And then once word had gone round in the community that I was doing this, people started bringing me their stuff to fix. So, it was mobile phones, tablets, and laptops and desktops, all that kind of stuff. So, and that's kind of where I was. And then it's kind of bloomed since then. And so over the last year, I continued doing that, and I've still got a lot of business to consumer clients in the residential sector. But I'm moving now towards the business-to-business stuff and managed services. And and that's kind of where I am right now.
So it's good that it, and thanks for being so open and honest, obviously being ill, and I hope everything's okay now.
Everything's great.
It sounds like a bit of a journey and a tough time in your life. And, all credit for digging deep and just sticking with it and making something out of what is a really terrible sort of situation. And I think, the good thing about your business when it started is it was organic. It just was natural. You didn't have to try or push it. People, you're doing something you liked. People recognize that they need that service, and the business came to you. And so that's the story we all like to hear, and it's all credit to you for doing that. So the business has sort of obviously moved on now, I take it, and you're into, let's say, more sort of professional services or business services within that sector. So what kind of services are you providing? Because I read on your site or on your profile that you're into like estate lettings and the property market too.
It would just so happen that through a network event, I met my first business stuff, who was an estate agent, and so just through developing a relationship with them, I got a little bit of knowledge, a bit of domain knowledge about estate agency and the kind of software they use and the kind of systems they have, and the problems that small independent estate agents have in terms of keeping themselves protected a lot of the time and compliant and stuff like that, because they're not always as well protected as larger companies who've got a lot of money to invest in that kind of thing. And I thought this was an ideal opportunity to get into, so I deal with those kinds of companies and all of the associated businesses that surround them, so solicitors, lettings agents, estate agents, surveyors, anyone like that who is a small business and who's independent. So
very good. I've had a comment from John Attridge again. Love it. Just say yes and work out how to do it later. But how people stop you because they will never work it out. Exactly. I think it's and you're like a testament to that, Warren, and sort of how you got your business going, and it's great to hear, and you see it occasionally. You probably don't see it enough, so I'm grateful that you've had that sort of attitude and get it going. So what obviously the pandemic was a tough time. Everyone went from office working to remote working. Now we're heading back the other way, whereas you probably got a bit of a hybrid. What kind of computer tech issues, problems, what are you seeing in your sort of day-to-day work at the moment with what's happened in the last sort of year and a half?
Well, I think the one of the biggest parts of IT support now is supporting companies from a security point of view. 42% of ransomware attacks take place against small businesses in the UK at the moment, and that's rising. And it's come to the fore over the last sort of 18 months to 2 years. It's become a big issue, and you'll see it in the papers all the time and in the tech news and whatever about companies large and small being attacked. And so a big part of what we do is the cybersecurity stuff, and also making sure that companies are resilient as well. So if they do happen to suffer such an attack, or they lose that data in some other way, that is retrievable and that they're up and running again as soon as possible. And that's kind of what we do. So the business continuity and disaster recovery stuff is all kind of part and parcel of what it is we provide. Yeah. So.
And would you recommend people? I mean, obviously, we're used to having servers on our premises. Are you a fan of that? Are you a fan of the cloud? What's your view on that, Warren?
Well, a lot of it is hybrid at the moment, as people sort of get used to the idea of having things in the cloud. So you do tend to see hybrid systems in companies where they have, say, a backup system on premises, and they have cloud-based backup as well, just as just so that they can provide an element of redundancy there, if you like. So that's what we tend to see. But I think as time goes by, more and more stuff will move to the cloud. And something I've been doing myself is moving my business entirely to the cloud. So I've created a virtual network on Google Cloud Platform, and created my domain in it. And I'll be setting up a VPN to my machines here in the office, and encapsulating everything within the cloud. So that's going to be
okay.
My next thing.
That's a personal recommendation there from Warren to slowly think about migrating your stuff over, I suppose.
I mean, from a security point of view, it's a no-brainer, really. Your stuff is far more vulnerable out in the wild than it is in the cloud, where it's securely managed and all that kind of stuff. I mean, people will say, well, what happens if the cloud provider gets attacked? Well, people don't understand that the cloud is all over the place. It's not just a big data center sitting somewhere in the States. It's actually a distributed system, so some of your data is in the States, and some of it's in Europe, and some of it's in Asia, and
Yeah, so I suppose the chances of anyone piecing it all together is slim, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, the data's still backed up in sort of backed up in cloud storage, but cloud storage could be anywhere, So.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah. So my other sort of concern was, we've got big files. We're doing a lot during the day. It's going to take like all night to back up on the cloud. I mean, is that a problem, or is that sort of, can you get around that?
Well,
is it?
You can. I mean, the way that we have things set up is we do full machine backups once a month for our clients. So alongside a set of other measures, but it means that the entire machine, the entire PC, their work PC is backed up in the cloud, so that if that machine failed, or that machine got lost or whatever, all of it could be restored back onto another machine. All the data could come back. If they still had access to the same machine, we could reinstall the entire operating system right from scratch, and get that up and running again within a matter of hours. So even if a ransomware attack did take place and everything was encrypted on that machine, we could have it all back up and running very quickly. And then to complement that, we have sort of a weekly incremental backup that sort of looks at all of the changes in the files and makes sure that everything's backed up. And then, of course, the companies themselves will have sort of cloud synchronization services like OneDrive or Google Drive, where that's sort of saving stuff as changes happen.
In real time, so to speak.
Yeah. So it's a very robust system that we employ, and it's tested and it works. So
yeah, I mean, I don't know what's your view on OneDrive and Google Drive, because going back a couple of years, it's not secure, and all those conversations regarding these, and you should be using these kinds of things.
And
has that changed now, or are those apps?
It still goes on, and those apps have evolved. They haven't just stayed the same over the last couple of years. They have evolved. So there's higher levels of encryption available on them. And the other thing you have to remember, though, about those services is that they are primarily a cloud synchronization service. They help you share your files between machines and have them synchronized across devices and stuff like that. They're not a real backup solution, but they can be part of a process.
Okay.
So certainly useful in terms of what they are meant to do, and
Yes.
a lot more secure than they used to be. But the systems that we employ to back that up, it's all military grade encryption that goes on, which is why it takes a long time to back up stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, so
So-
that's your sort of light solution for daily sort of activity, but your company, your data, where everything really is military encrypted on.
Safe
Yeah.
and secure. The
Yeah.
other thing you've got to mention, you've got to remember about cloud synchronization services like OneDrive is that if you're logged into OneDrive and your machine comes under attack, then if the attacker is on your machine and has your credentials, then they can access your OneDrive as well. So they don't just encrypt all of the stuff on your machine; they encrypt all your stuff in OneDrive as well. So
Okay.
it's not a safe place to store data from that point of view.
Yes. Yeah, that's interesting. I hadn't thought about that. So,
Yeah.
because like I say, most of I think it's over half of all sort of crime these days is cyber.
Yeah.
Which is frightening, really, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And how do you guys keep up with that?
Well, there's just like in any industry, there's industry news and things that go out on the wire every day. All of the vendors who supply me with the facilities to provide these services are all really, really hot and really great at what they do, and the software that I use for automatic patching of machines when machines need software patches isn't linked to the company's patching database. It's linked to the MITRE database where the vulnerability information is available, so you can see what's going on from day to day in terms of vulnerabilities that are there, and patches get released by the security companies to make sure that no big security holes cause major problems for our clients, basically. So
Yeah. It's I mean, I get those Microsoft emails. I'm obviously admin of domains and things, and I read those things. I can't understand a word of them, so I'm glad someone like your good self can actually understand those things. But so yeah, it's so in terms of your ideal client, Warren. If you had an ideal client walk through the door today, big company, small company, would they be in housing? Who would they be? What would they look like?
small independents, because they tend to be less well protected than larger companies. They have a high reliance on, just as high reliance on data security as everyone else. But they don't necessarily have the money to invest in the kinds of systems that larger companies would have. What we say, the strapline is bringing big IT to small businesses. And what we're doing is bringing, enterprise grade IT support into small businesses and saying you can have that as well, at a price that's good for small businesses. You don't have to invest millions of pounds in data security every year,
Yeah. Sorry, carry on, Ryan.
That's the kind of company I'm looking at, and because there's me and one other guy running the show at the moment, we're still quite small. It's early days, and so we're looking at these companies with up to sort of 20 to 30 seats, so up to 20 to 30 employees. And that's, if you would just assume that each employee's got a PC or they've got some device that they need to use to do their work, then that's, it's almost equivalent to 30 devices, if you like. So, but they'll have printers and routers and all kinds of other things as well that need looking after as well. So that all comes into the mix.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Thanks for that, Warren. So, we've heard about Warren, a bit about you and a bit about your company, but sometimes we like to delve a bit behind the scenes, and I get the feeling that there's a bit more to Warren that meets the eye. So I'm going to play this for you, Warren, and then let's see where we go. So here we go.
Okay, I'm going to tell a really sad story now.
Okay.
It's embarrassing to say, but I think I bought when I was about 8 or 9 years old. I bought "Hey Mickey" by Tony Basil, which is, you know,
Yeah, I know it. That's but it's cool.
you know, and that was a 7-inch vinyl. And then I redeemed myself sometime later when I bought my first CD player and needed to christen it with something. And it was around about the time. It was around about the time that Freddie Mercury passed away, and the single went out. You know, "These Are the Days of Our Lives" and stuff. You know,
Yes.
so and Bohemian Rhapsody on one side, "These Are the Days" on the other side, and christened the new CD player with that. So that was
Brilliant,
pretty cool.
fantastic. And are you musically sort of inclined? I mean, do you play an instrument?
Well, play is a bit of a stretch. I'm sort of an eternal beginner, really, at guitar, and so
Fantastic.
I
You look
don't,
like you could be a
I don't keep going with it long enough to be able to, sustain any kind of talent or anything. You know, I kind of pick it up and learn a few chords and learn a couple of songs, and then go, right, I've done that now. Thanks very much. There you go. Back on the
Yeah.
stand. Go off and do something else. It's like, I've done that
well,
now.
you know, yeah, but there's nothing wrong with that. I think if a song inspires you enough to pick up guitar and actually learn how to play it,
Yeah,
spend a week or so learning how to play it, and
yeah. I do enjoy it. I do enjoy it when I do play. So.
yeah, no, you look like you could be in a front man of a band, Warren. So fantastic. So brilliant. So thank you so much today, Warren. It's been a pleasure sort of hearing about Monkey Computers. So in terms of if anyone wants to get hold of you, how would they do that? And what how does it work? Is it free consultation? How does getting hold of you actually work?
Well, if anyone's interested in any of the stuff that we've been talking about today, then I'm certainly available for one-to-ones and stuff like that. So they can also contact me through LinkedIn. I'm easily accessible through LinkedIn, through the Cobra Club as well, obviously, and all of the usual channels. The website, monkeycomputerhelp.com, monkeycomputerhelp.co.uk will get you there as well. It's going through a bit of a redesign at the moment, so you'll have to forgive the layouts at the minute, but. So,
that's all right. I was looking at your site. I was quite liked your site, actually.
Did it still have the little doggy on it? I don't think it does at the moment.
Yeah,
we had an issue.
I
I did an app, and the app picked the little puppy icon that I used to have on there. It was a little puppy playing with a computer. And then the app went on the Apple Store, and then Apple got in touch to say that I couldn't use it. I couldn't use that branding anymore because it contained an Apple logo on it. So the little computer was an Apple MacBook or something, and it had an Apple logo on the lid, and it was tiny, and you could hardly see it. But Apple picked up on it and said, "No, you can't do that."
Wow, blimey! That's yeah. How'd they even find that stuff out? But they are who they are, so we bow down and all of that. So
yeah. So unfortunately, the puppy has gone now, so that's going to be it's part of the rebranding. So
bring back the puppy. That's what I say.
It never did Andrex any harm, did it? So
yeah, absolutely. Brilliant. Thanks so much, Warren. Great to see you, and take care, and we'll see you again soon. And thank you so much for coming on today.
Yeah, thanks very much for your time and the opportunity.
All right, thank you, Warren.
Thank you.
Yeah, cheers. See you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow, there you go. Quickly, thanks to Hannah for putting all this material together for the Gritty Business Show. Really appreciate that, Hannah. And thanks to Warren there. Fantastic to get to know Warren more and hear about Monkey Computer Help and everything that he does. Fantastic, insightful guy. So please do get in contact with Warren. We're rapidly coming to the end of the show. It's been fantastic today, and appreciate all the comments and supports out there. Say hi to Rachel Reed. If it's an app you need, Rachel Reed. Thanks, John, today for all those comments. Thanks, Duncan. Thanks, Shane. Thanks, Mr. LinkedIn user. There we go. Oh no, there it is there. Thanks, LinkedIn user. So there you go, guys. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to run through the weekly events at the club. There's plenty going on inside the club. Loads of business getting past. Come along, come and find out a bit more about it. So here we go. All right, let's get this rolling. Okay, so networking events in the Cobra Club are kicking off on Monday at 9 a.m. with Mr. Ed Williamson for Monday Motivation. Next up on Monday at 3 p.m, Christie's Virtual Coffee Club. Nice relaxed meeting there with Christy. So thank you, Christy. You just seen her a moment ago. Hannah Matarazzo does the videos here. She runs Cobra Creative every Monday from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Some great events. Mr. Zafran Khan runs his event on Monday night. Zaf is a FSB advisor, very well connected guy, and it's a great event to come and attend. Next up, Judith West with Quest West weekly on Tuesdays, 10:30 a.m. With the lovely Judith West. Then next up, Tantalizing Taylor or Yvonne Taylor, Tantalizing Tuesdays, every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Yvonne's a fantastically connected lady, will help you out as much as she can. Followed that by Cobra Office every Tuesday from 1:30 p.m. with the lovely Victoria Woods. We had this meeting yesterday. It went down a treat. Titan Troubleshooters with Katrina Ellis every Tuesday from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Fantastic. And then this morning, it's already happened, but the Make It Happen Hub with the incredible Elaine Atherton, Sales and Accountability Coach from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Followed this afternoon by the Hive Mastermind from 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. So come along and meet Beverly, #1 Amazon bestselling author. That in the evening then, Meeting Talents with myself and Ed Williamson, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Meeting Talents, grab a drink and log on. Followed that, tomorrow morning, Cobra Connect, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. inside the Cobra Club. It's a great Thursday morning sort of session to get yourself going for the day. Followed that by Cobra Strike, weeklies on Thursday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. With Mr. Chris Mason inside the club. So brilliant. And then going on to Friday, we've got a few more left. Louise Monblatt, every Friday morning down in Dorset, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. first thing Friday. And we've seen him here today already, Mr. Shane Yates. The full Welsh breakfast starts at 9:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. Come and meet Shane, he's so well connected. And next up, Alan Cadden with the Cobra Express up in Glasgow every Friday, 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. That meeting went down a storm last week too. So, and last but not least, Sharon Ritchie, currently running the Cobra Club reception at this point in time, every Friday, 4 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Hi Sharon, we'll see you there. But where is there? That's what I keep asking myself. And there is www.thecoclub.co.uk. If you'd like to get in touch, you can book a virtual tour. There's the address underneath. If you want to write to me, if you want to come on the show, get in touch. There we go. Andrew at the Cobra Club, www.thecobraclub.co.uk. It's all good. You know, so many people waiting to speak to you and get involved. It's just some fantastic stuff going on inside the club at the moment. So I want to say a big thanks to everyone who's out there. I want to say a big thank you to John. Thanks, John. Let's catch up sometime. I want to shout out to, basically everyone who's been and supported us today. And let's make it happen, as they say. So last but not least, just a couple of little things I've got to do. And let's start with, signing out. So, right, here we go, guys. It's been a great show today. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again soon.
Now you're watching me, yeah, all eyes on me, 'cause I've been living the good life. So come fly with me into my fantasy, and we be loving the good life, good life.
I think this dream now just hit me. Why don't you just go there with me? Surfing the skies and splash in the clouds, dance in the crowds and laugh out loud. Holding your hand, unfolding a plan. Two souls in a land like gold in a pan. Float in the breeze or so looking to see. Come go there with me where we both wanna be. Lie on the beach or fly in the streets. I'm trying to keep this vine in the reach. Putting everything I do aside, me and you approach. We can travel to the very end of the universe. You and me are meant to be divine energy. Living with no rules in a pool of serenity. Come be my fantasy, go away with me. Lock us up in a dream and throw away the keys. Come on, live this up now. Good life, good laugh, good love now. Come on, live this with me. Good laugh, good love, we live free. Come on, live this up now. Good life, good laugh, good love now. Come on, live this with me. Good laugh, good love, we live free. We need to rise with these new eyes. Pull the disguise off of these blue skies. Lights in the city reflect off the shoreline. When you're living this life, you want more time. Rewind the time, align planets. Ride this comic to a new dynamic. Your eyes on me, mine on you. Living the good life, we do what
Now
we
you're
want to.
watching me. Yeah,